There's been some talk about possibly Joshua using Jake Paul as a tune-up to fight you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about tune-up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
But Anthony, listen to me. Don't take a dive with this Jake Paul, mate. Do not do that, not for $1 billion, my pal. Don't do it. Don't do as the others have done. Do not take dives. If he fights you, knock him dead as a nit, and good luck with it.
Tyson says he's going to bet £1 million on Jake Paul knocking out Joshua.
This is what I'm saying.
It's not even about it being realistic or not. Like, it's going to happen. So fasten your seatbelts or whatever. And when I knock him out...
Jake Paul, the internet star turned boxer, stirred up the boxing world by calling out Anthony Joshua after defeating Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. The potential matchup gained unexpected traction when Saudi Arabia's prominent boxing advisor, Turki Al-Sheikh, reportedly offered his support, adding a layer of legitimacy. However, most boxing professionals have dismissed the idea, citing serious concerns over the massive physical disparity and questioning the fight's credibility within the sport.
Jake Paul has reached out to Anthony Joshua a few times. I've spoken to Nikisa, Jake's manager. It's never a fight we anticipated. It's never a fight we've targeted. But if you want Jake Paul to be the warm-up fight, and obviously financially it's a great opportunity for AJ, and you want to provide AJ and probably in turn Matchroom with the opportunity to extinguish Jake Paul from the world of boxing, then maybe AJ will oblige.
Jake Paul, you've lost your mind if you think you can go toe-to-toe with Anthony Joshua. Listen, let's not get confused, guys. Let's not get confused. Yes, cool. Anthony, he took a big L with Daniel Dubois. But Daniel Dubois is not no joke, bro. He's not a joke. Do you know what I'm trying to say? He took an L there. But Jake Paul, I got the utmost respect of what he's done, how he's managed to navigate through the boxing world. Like, bro, it's so mad. And I can see this is like a 90%. It's happening, it's positioning, it's marketing already. Like, why would you see Jake Paul go face-to-face with Alexander Usyk if it's not to position for a fight for Saudi? Obviously, Jake Paul's going to fight Anthony Joshua. There's possibly going to be a Usyk against Tyson Fury 3 because obviously the last two were so close. But you never know. It can also be a Usyk against Derek Chisora. Do you know what I mean? You never know.
Jake Paul has confirmed that his much-anticipated clash with Anthony Joshua is likely to happen next year. Speaking confidently, he stated, "I want to fight Anthony Joshua. I know I can beat him. He doesn't have a chin. He's too stiff."
So I like the challenge. People, that's the criticism. Fight someone in their prime who's a beast. I think people just want to see me lose. That's really what the message is behind it all. And Anthony Joshua is an insane fight, but I want that challenge. We've been DMing back and forth. He wants to make it happen. He called me up, and it's looking very likely for next year.
Jake celebrated the victory as a sign of his progress and remains eager for the challenge, even though he's not a natural heavyweight. He pointed to Deontay Wilder's success at lighter weights as inspiration and embraced the risk involved. Talks between Saudi boxing chief Turki Al-Sheikh and Joshua's promoter Eddie Hearn suggest the fight is gaining traction, with Joshua reportedly open to the bout if Jake Paul proves he's serious.
Now, I know you're after a world title, but if that doesn't materialize, I know the Tommy Fury name has been floated about. Is there any other fighters who may not be world champions that you're looking to face?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Joshua.
I think that's the main one that, we've talked a lot about is if it's not for the title, it's looking at Tommy, if he's reasonable, and then Anthony Joshua. And he's adamant that he wants to make that fight happen at the end of 2026.
Anything's possible. And so I like the challenge. People, that's the criticism. Fight someone in their prime who's a beast. I think people just want to see me lose. That's really what the message is behind it all. And Anthony Joshua is an insane fight, but I want that challenge. We've been DMing back and forth. He wants to make it happen. He called me up, and it's looking very likely for next year.
Eddie Hearn, Anthony Joshua's promoter, admitted the fight could be a massive spectacle but warned Jake Paul to be careful what you wish for, stressing Joshua's power and experience. He called Paul bold, maybe even crazy, for chasing the bout, noting the enormous payday on the table. Still, Hearn didn't hold back, labeling the matchup a dangerous mismatch. He cautioned that putting an inexperienced Paul in the ring with a seasoned heavyweight like Joshua could be disastrous, potentially ending Paul's career, figuratively or even literally.
Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua 50-50 fight. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I just said in another interview, great if it is. I mean, if it is, then you've got no problem seeing it. But when AJ, I mean, decapitates a strong word, but you know, when he renders Jake Paul unconscious like he did to Francis Ngannou, don't then say, oh well, it was Jake Paul. Do you know what I mean? I mean, when AJ beat Francis Ngannou, Ngannou just had a fight that could have gone either way with Tyson Fury. Then AJ poleaxed him, and everyone just said he's just an MMA fighter. Do you know what I mean? Jake Paul's not Francis Ngannou. But as I said before, if you want to see Jake Paul exit the boxing world, make the fight.
Still, Hearn has recognized Jake Paul's calculated approach of targeting big-name fighters for major paydays. Adding to the growing buzz, boxing legend Roy Jones Jr. weighed in with a more cautious take on the potential Paul versus Joshua bout. While he admitted the fight could happen if Joshua genuinely wanted it, Jones emphasized it must make sense for Joshua both competitively and financially. Referring to Joshua as a true former world champion, Jones didn't mince words. Did you see what Anthony Joshua did to Francis Ngannou? The same thing would happen to Jake Paul. If you think someone who isn't a full-time boxer can beat Joshua, you're crazy.
Change subjects just a little bit here, and Anthony Joshua, there's rumours circulating he could be fighting Jake Paul next. One, do you think it's good for boxing, and two, do you think the fight will happen?
I think it's great for boxing. I think the fight will happen. AJ is 1-0 against these guys that come in to these boxing careers late. So why not? He's a perfect guy to take him out too. He took Ngannou out. Why would he not take Jake Paul out? And for him, he'd probably make more money fighting Jake Paul than he will fighting anybody else that he can fight right now. So why would he not do it? I mean, not that he needs the money right now anyway, but if he's going to do something, if you want to get a good win to put him back on the scene, that's a perfect win. You get a lot of money doing it.
Speculation around a potential Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight has intensified, especially after Saudi boxing chief Turki Al-Sheikh hinted at approving the matchup during a TalkSport appearance at Wembley. Al-Sheikh revealed that Paul has verbally agreed to the bout and expressed his own hope to see Joshua dominate Paul in a lopsided 991-style mismatch. He described the fight as a win-win, an opportunity to test legitimacy on both sides.
Spencer, from all of that common sense, we talk about this. We talk about the potential of Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul getting it on. He's some promoter, Jake Paul, of himself and of others too. But let's talk about the potential. Could you see this happening?
Do you know what? I think I could. Do you know why? I'll tell you why I can. Firstly, let me just say about Jake Paul. Look, he's been nothing but good for the sport. Forget what people think about him in the ring and, you know, what he's doing in the ring. He's been incredible for women's boxing. Insane for women's boxing. He's really brought it to the forefront, you know, with what he's done with Amanda Serrano and now signing up all these other girls that we've got, Chantel Cameron and all the rest of the girls that he's signing up. Brilliant news. Like, that's fantastic for women's sport, women's boxing. But he's also bringing eyeballs to boxing as well, because he has a huge audience. And with what he's doing now, you're getting these, you know, the younger generation that had no interest in boxing at all, now starting to watch it. So he's transforming so many people. You have to respect that. You know, what he's doing as a promoter, he's doing brilliantly. Now he's calling out Anthony Joshua. Is it real? Does he really want the smoke? I mean, he's got to be an idiot if he does, because Anthony Joshua, let's use this as a comparison. Francis Ngannou called Anthony Joshua out after pushing Tyson Fury the way that he did, and you looked at that and he went in there and he iced him in 2 rounds. Francis Ngannou versus Jake Paul, you got to go heavily on Francis Ngannou, haven't you? So what's going to happen to poor Jake Paul if he boxes Anthony Joshua, this Olympic gold medalist, 2-time world champion?
However, many experienced boxing figures have strongly opposed the idea. Veteran heavyweight Derek Chisora has harshly criticized the notion of Jake Paul receiving a WBC ranking, calling it a slap in the face to the sport. Chisora argued that true athletes grind for years to earn their place, while Paul, fighting unranked or past their prime opponents, could leap ahead based on fame alone. He accused WBC President Mauricio Suleiman of sacrificing the sport's integrity for profit, calling it a disgrace. Chisora firmly stated that rankings should be earned through real fights, not handed out for clicks or promotion.
The WBC have said they're going to give a cruiserweight ranking to the winner of this fight. Do you think they deserve one?
No, I don't think so. I don't know why. It's hard enough for real athletes, for real boxers, to gain those rankings, and then suddenly this Solomon Souza decides to give double ranking because he's getting some greens in his, in his back pocket. No, that is disgrace to boxing.
Lawrence Oakley has raised serious concerns about the potential Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight, warning that it could be a major safety risk. While Oakley once sparred with Paul and acknowledged his dedication and mentality, he now believes that stepping in the ring with someone like Joshua, who possesses elite power and skill, would be a dangerously one-sided matchup. Many in the boxing world share this view. Eddie Hearn described the idea as dangerous, very dangerous, and Frank Warren called it a big ask, pointing to Joshua's overwhelming physical edge.
Where are you on this nonsense?
Where am I? I can't see it happening. I can't. Although yes, lots of money, so on and so forth. I can't see it. I just can't. It just obviously as someone who's been a unified heavyweight world champion going in against Jake Paul, it doesn't sit right. Yeah, and it's like I'm also talking from a health and safety factor. It's like he's maybe a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
Anthony Joshua's a very big, strong heavyweight, and if he turns it on, it's not just a risk of a knockout. It's a much bigger risk. So I can't see it personally, but it's good talking point, I guess.
Former world champion Amir Khan joined the chorus of concern, warning that Jake Paul could get seriously hurt or even killed if he steps into the ring with Anthony Joshua. In contrast, Tyson Fury offered a surprising take, firmly backing Paul's chances. Speaking to Ring Magazine ahead of the Usyk Du Bois rematch at Wembley, Fury boldly claimed, "I think Jake Paul knocks him out. AJ is a spent force, and Jake is on the rise." He praised Paul's heavier, more muscular build as well suited for heavyweight boxing and applauded his fearless attitude in taking on challenges across divisions. Fury even went as far as saying he'd bet £1 million on Paul to win outright.
There's been some talk about possibly Joshua using Jake Paul as a tune-up to fight you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about tune-up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why so? What impresses you about Jake Paul?
I just think Jake Paul would knock AJ out. I think AJ's a spent force, and I think Jake Paul's on the rise. And I like his new heavyweight look. Bit chubby, bit bulky. Getting there. That's protected. And he just done a great job over the aging Chavez Jr., who was a middleweight, but still. Sure. Yeah. I like how Jake Paul calls out the full spectrum from featherweight to heavyweight. Do you know what I mean? Who did he call out? Tank Williams and Joshua. That's just crazy. That's what you call Richter scale call-outs.
Richter scale, I like that.
Eddie Hearn acknowledged the buzz surrounding Tyson Fury's comments, but firmly rejected the idea that Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua is a fair matchup. In a frank interview, Hearn stated, "If it's a 50-50 fight, there's no issue from a promotional perspective." However, he stressed that this isn't one of those cases. When Joshua dismantles Paul, don't act surprised or downplay it by saying, "Oh, it was just Jake Paul." Hearn doubled down on his long-standing position, calling the fight a catastrophic mismatch, dangerous for Paul, but undeniably profitable for Joshua.
Dangerous game. So, yeah, I mean, look, Leo's, it comes with the territory. He's had the big sell. He's been with AJ and Frank Bruno up there, the past, the current. So you're in now, son. You're in the deep end. And he's a good kid and a great fighter. I'm sure people are going to love being part of the journey.
Yeah, I know you're in a bit of a rush here, so I'll move on to Tyson Fury. Are you shocked that Tyson Fury announced he's going to come back to ring? And did you expect him to want Usyk rather than AJ?
I think that he's always going to want to avenge a defeat. I mean, look, he feels that he won both of those fights. fights. You know, I thought they were very close. Don't think he won them, but you know, maybe he does fight Usyk again. We can't control what Fury does. I gave up trying to do that years ago. You've seen from the response online, no one's really interested in Fury against Usyk 3, and everyone wants the AJ fight. But the minute I come out and start saying this and saying that, it probably rolls us back. So what I'm going to say is, good luck, Tyson Fury. Do whatever you want to do. Hopefully it involves giving the public the biggest fight the country's ever had.
Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, 50-50 fight. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I just said in another interview, great if it is.
Tommy Fury, the only fighter to hand Jake Paul a professional defeat, mocked Paul's ambitions of facing Anthony Joshua. He reminded fans that Paul couldn't beat him, even when he was fighting with a broken hand, and bluntly stated, "Jake, Paul, I'm still your daddy." Fury dismissed the idea of a Joshua-Paul fight as absurd, saying it's not worth a shilling, and insisting that Paul's loss to him will forever undermine his credibility. He made it clear that Paul's bravado carries no weight until it's backed up against true elite-level opponents, and Fury has no hesitation in calling him out.
To give a little opinion on everything I've been seeing on social media lately, Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, just wanted to come in here and remind everybody that that bum couldn't beat me when I basically had a broken hand. I had one hand and he still lost. Jake Paul, I'm still your daddy, and everybody weighing this fight up, don't bother, because he ain't worth a shilling. And the loss will always be there, Mr. Paul. Take it easy and have a good day.
Simon Jordan firmly rejected the idea of Anthony Joshua taking a fight with Jake Paul. He argued that, despite Joshua's recent setbacks, he remains a legitimate world champion whose legacy shouldn't be tied to a crossover stunt. Jordan warned that such a fight would do little to benefit the sport, casting doubt on whether fans or broadcasters would truly respect a matchup between a seasoned heavyweight and a part-time influencer-turned-boxer, highlighting the importance of long-term reputation and commercial credibility. Jordan insisted Joshua should be facing real contenders, not chasing spectacle-driven headlines.
As a boxing purist, it doesn't sit well, but as a normal working-class lad, I've been asked by builders, would you fight Jake Paul for £5 million? I never got £5 million for fighting anyone else in a fight, so it's the silliest question in the world. I've been retired 7 years. I'm still very confident. If you give me 3 weeks to get off the couch, I'll probably still beat him with one hand. It's not. Yeah. He's not a good fighter, so it's not even being disrespectful to him as a YouTuber, as a presenter in what he does. He blows me out the water. That's his line of work. But you're stepping into boxing, another profession. Now to call it like Canelo out, I think is disrespectful. To call Anthony Joshua out is lunacy. But we know why it's happening and why he does it.
Forget Jake Paul.
Forget Jake Paul. A lot of tickets.
Paul. I mean, Jake Paul's going to do what Jake Paul does, but Anthony Joshua, and with respect to you and what you did and didn't earn in your career, Anthony Joshua is out at King's ransom. Yeah. So he doesn't need to be fiddle with this, does he? Yeah.
No, he doesn't. But again, all I keep seeing from people out there is, when is enough? And I get that. But when you're retired at 33, 34, and you've got to make that last now, you've got more experience than me in this, dealing with a lot of footballers in the past as well, and business people who have to make a certain amount of budget last. It's the easiest money you'll probably ever make.
Former UFC contender turned boxer Darren Till came out in strong support of Jake Paul amid reports that a potential fight with Anthony Joshua might be getting closer. He criticized the involvement of Saudi promoter Turki Al-Sheikh, calling it hypocritical and bluntly saying, "Get the F*** out of here." Till argued that Paul has nothing to lose going into the fight and highlighted what he sees as Joshua's mental fragility under pressure. Joshua is not the strongest mentally, he said, adding, "Jake Paul doesn't give a F***, and insisting that Paul's mental toughness could give him an edge if the fight actually happens.
Past Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, as much as he's a monster, he's got a weak mind, hasn't he? So Jake could end up getting into it because Jake's got everyone eating out the palm of his hand. He's a very clever man. So
you really think he's got a chance?
Why wouldn't he have a chance? Look how confident he is. I mean, come on. Like, Anthony would have all the pressure in the world, and if Anthony didn't do him with the first few punches, he'd start doubting himself in his head, because that's what he does. But no, Anthony should win, shouldn't he? But that's...
What do you make of Tyson Fury saying that he's going to put $1 million bet on Jake winning by knockout?
Tyson to leg it, lad. He's retired about 50 times. What's he on about, mate? Just tell him to leg it, and I'd love him. If he walked in here, I'd obviously...
At one point, you were good friends.
I'm still good friends, but obviously if he walked in here, I'd act like I'm not talking about him, but then on the camera I'm talking, so Is this not what we're on?
Fair enough.
Is everyone not fake or no? We all. What are we on here? Are we all acting like we don't hate each other? Like, come on. Like what?
You're on absolute smoke today.
Shut your mouth, Tyson. Shut your trap.
Duke McKenzie, a former three-weight world champion and ex-ITV boxing commentator, has voiced strong criticism against the idea of Anthony Joshua facing Jake Paul, especially amid the growing trend of crossover fights. McKenzie denounced the influx of YouTubers and MMA fighters into boxing, calling the trend misguided and risky. Reflecting on Joshua's previous bout with former UFC champion Francis Ngannou, McKenzie warned it could have ended in disaster, arguing that someone with no boxing background had no business sharing the ring with a former world champion, that he stressed that boxers and MMA fighters should stay in their respective lanes to protect both safety and the sport's integrity. Meanwhile, public sentiment has been similarly harsh toward Jake Paul. Many boxing analysts and fans believe he's lost touch with reality, criticizing his controversial decisions and promotional antics. On Reddit, detractors have labeled Paul arrogant, overhyped, and undeserving of the attention he receives in boxing. Critics argue that he brings followers, not true fans, and some have gone as far as calling him a grifter or a gimmick, more showman than serious athlete, whose fame feels manufactured rather than earned. For many, Paul has gone from entertainer to outright caricature.
Paul, you've lost your mind if you think you can go toe-to-toe with Anthony Joshua. Listen, let's not get confused, guys. Let's not get confused. Yes, cool. Anthony, he took a big L with Daniel Dubois. But Daniel Dubois is not no joke, bro. He's not a joke. You know what I'm trying to say? He took a L there. But Jake Paul, I got the utmost respect of what he's done, how he's managed to navigate through the boxing world. Like, bro, it's so mad. And I can see this is like a 90%. It's happening, it's positioning, it's marketing already. Like, why would you see Jake Paul go face-to-face with Alexander Usyk if it's not to position for a fight for Saudi? Obviously, Jake Paul's going to fight Anthony Joshua. There's possibly going to be a Usyk against Tyson Fury 3 because obviously the last two were so close. But you never know. It can also be a Usyk against Derek Chisora. Do you know what I mean? You never know.